Wait a minute. You want exactly how much for that bulldog? Are you serious right now? Hey, I'm Haley and I am in the office today, and I'm going to be talking about something that most people don't understand, and that is why bulldogs cost so much money, right? Like, I don't know how many times people are like, wait, you ask how much? Like, are you serious right now? Because most people don't understand what all is involved in taking care of English bulldogs or French bulldogs. So some facts that most people don't understand is that the price doesn't have anything to do with popularity. Bulldogs are expensive. Did you guys know that, for example, they rarely can mate on their own? So for a bulldog to become pregnant, there has to be semen extraction, and then they have to be either artificially inseminated or surgically inseminated. And let me tell you what, it is not cheap. And then most of the time, they can't whelp on their own. It's just, you know, their heads are big, their shoulders are big. If they get too hot, then they start having, you know, there's a possibility of heat stroke, right? So like all these factors play into the fact that it's not very safe for them to whelp on their own. So they have to have C-sections. And let me tell you, if you have to have a C-section that is after hours or on a holiday or weekend, it is not cheap. Just for a normal average surgical insemination and C-section Monday through Friday at the vet's convenience, you're looking at an easy grand, right? Right there's $1,000. And the average size of litter for puppies, for the bulldogs, is about 4. Sometimes we've had as many as 10. We've had as little as 1. It just, so it averages out to about 4. So you're looking at like $2,000 to $4,000 to raise that litter. But that's not including your time. Okay, so like, let's talk about the time that is involved. Okay, so bulldogs don't make the best mommies. They love them, but they're clumsy, and there's a really good chance that if you leave all the puppies in with the bulldog mommy, she's gonna sit on them. She's not even gonna know it. And then she's gonna smother her baby, and then she's gonna be depressed because she doesn't know why her puppy died. So, to combat that, the puppies generally are removed from the mother when they're not nursing and bonding. So like, we put the puppies in a pet ICU brooder, which controls the temperature, it controls the humidity, it controls the oxygen. Like, you know, they have that flat-faced breed, right? So they need that oxygen flowing into their lungs. They need that help, right? So the incubator helps do that. But then, you know, they have to eat, right? So every 2 hours for the first 3 weeks, mind you, a good breeder's sole objective is to make sure those puppies are alive and healthy. So every 2 hours, I get up around the clock and put those puppies with the mommy and make sure that they are eating. And I help the mommy nurse the puppies. I help the mommy potty the puppies. By the way, puppies don't potty on their own. I don't know if you knew that or not, but they have to be stimulated by the mother. And if the mother doesn't like catch on right away for whatever reason, then you have to do it. I mean, I don't like them, you know, there's like techniques, but there's, you know, I'm just saying, it's not princessy quality moments, but they're important moments, right? That's what needs to happen for the puppy to be healthy. And that is what I'm there for, to help the mother take care of these babies. So we go through all of that, and I make sure they have bonding time. Okay, so we're looking at least an hour, right? So then after they've had some time, mommy likes to go out and potty. Mommy likes to take her rest too, because she's just had a C-section, remember? So she can't like be up bouncing around. I have to make sure that she keeps free from infection. A lot of times we don't even let them go outside to go potty for the first week, just because we don't want that extra contamination, because they have weak immune systems. So that's something to keep in mind too. So we do all of that. Right? Then we put the puppies back into the incubator, make sure everybody's breathing, make sure everybody's sleeping, make sure the temperature is right. They're not too hot, they're not too cold. and then we do it all over again in 2 hours. Unless there's a puppy that I'm worried about. Maybe they're not breathing strong enough on their own. Maybe they're not eating enough. So then that takes in another consideration. Maybe I don't wait 2 hours. Maybe I'm feeding them every hour, every 45 minutes. Maybe I'm in there every 30 minutes. And generally for the first week, I sleep in that room. And at our old location, I actually kicked my daughter out of her room, and her room became the whelping room. And nobody was allowed in. You couldn't wear shoes in there. You had to sanitize like from head to toe, and no visitors were allowed because my priority was to keep those puppies safe. So that is that, right? So there's that time. So we're looking at $2,000 to $4,000 just to raise them. And that fluctuates because then there's puppy food that needs to be made, and there is vaccinations and vet well checks, and there's a lot of things that go into it. So there's a lot that happens, right? Okay, so you have all of that point, right? All of that time, all of that effort, all of that money. Let's not underestimate all of that love that has gone into it. And keeping in mind that that breeder has most likely, if they're a good breeder, has pretty much ignored their family for the first 3 weeks. And then the puppies move on to eating every 4 hours, and solid foods are introduced, which has to be handmade. And if you've ever tried feeding a baby solid foods, like you get the spoon, and it's like 100 times harder to feed a puppy. And like everybody is covered in puppy food. It's in the hair, and it's just, oh my word, it's a mess. So we finally get the puppy up to 8 weeks, and you want your puppy, and you're ready for your puppy to come home, and that is amazing, and there's this great experience. But the breeder's job doesn't end when the puppy turns 8 weeks old, right? We have, like I said, vaccinations and vet well checks, and then a good breeder should be interviewing you. They should be working to make sure, they should be working basically for that puppy to make sure that puppy has a great home to go to. So they're preparing the new mommy and daddy, and they're making sure the new mommy and daddy has all the things that they need, and they are aware of all the things that could possibly arise, and they're working on all of that, okay? Then you come and get your puppy, or we fly the puppy to you, and then the breeder's job's not done because the breeder still wants to make sure that the puppy is okay. So there's still that lifelong support that comes when you purchase an English Bulldog or a French Bulldog, specifically from us, right? So my main goal is to be the lifelong support to you. I love those dogs. I remember every dog. I remember the day that they were born and what their personalities were like, right? So you're not paying for a dog from the local shelter. You're not paying for a puppy that you know nothing about. You're not paying for a puppy from a pet store that most likely has come from a puppy mill, right? You're paying for a puppy that has been well taken care of. You're paying for a puppy that has had vitamins and the proper nutrition and the proper care, which in turn saves you thousands of dollars in the long run. So yeah, English Bulldogs do cost a lot at first, more than the average. But when it comes down to it, they are totally worth it. You're gonna love them. You're not gonna want any other bulldog or any other dog. Once you have your English Bulldog, you're not gonna be able to sleep without hearing that breathing in the background that they do, because it's adorable and you love it. Or the snoring from across the room that makes the floor vibrate. It's just, you can't replace that with another dog. You know, it's just amazing. So hopefully I answered most of your questions. Let me review my notes real quick. A side note to keep in mind is that there's also like registrations, right? Like you want to make sure that your bulldog is a purebred bulldog. So they need to be registered with the AKC, which also takes money and also takes time because the AKC does inspections and they do follow-ups to make sure that these breeders are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So keep that in mind too. Like you're paying for that security as well. So if you come across bulldogs that are discounted or on sale, cheap, whatever the phrase that you want to use, be really suspicious and do your homework before you purchase. Because there's, like I said, there's so much that goes into it, and if you buy a cheap bulldog, chances are you're gonna double, triple, or quadruple your money in the long run when it comes to their health. And you're gonna be attached to that dog. So of course you might spend $1,500 on this puppy at first, but then you're gonna end up spending thousands of dollars in the long run. And what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna tell the dog no? No, you love that dog, so you're gonna take care of it. So a lot of those cheaper, easier breeders are gonna do things like that, thinking that they're gonna make their quick $1,500 and that dog's gonna be gone, and they're not gonna have to worry about it, right? It'll be your problem. So don't start that way. Don't encourage that path. Encourage the proper breeder who's done the work and done all the hard work for you. So all you have to do is bring your puppy home and potty train them and love them and nurture them from there on out. So there you have it. That's a really good roundabout why of Bulldogs cost so much. Make sure that you ask questions below if you have any, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tag, all the things, all the social media things, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And we'll talk to you later. See ya.